Welcome to this quick tech tip video on the use, care, and maintenance of the Bowmonk AFM2. The Bowmonk AFM2 has been a staple in the market for many years, providing great and reliable friction readings while having an ease of use second to none for airports all over the world. I'm Todd Rushing, Airfield Safety Specialist with Sherwin Industries, the distributor of the Bowmonk AFM2 for the United States, and I'll be walking you through this tech tip. As a standard, the AFM2 comes with an aluminum carrying case, both AC and DC chargers, a spare printer ribbon, 10 rolls of printer paper, an owner's manual, and a quick reference guide for your use. You may also choose to invest in the PC Link program that will store your friction information electronically so you can retrieve and evaluate that data. Let's cover a few easy steps to ensure that you're ready to use your AFM2. First, ensure that the unit's battery has a sufficient charge to perform the tests. You can use the DC charger while in your vehicle to maintain a charge, but please know that the print function of the machine requires a fair amount of power and may not print if the machine sees that it does not have sufficient power. As with any other battery-operated machines, it's a good idea to keep those batteries conditioned. This is fairly easy to do in the winter months as you're using the unit on a more frequent basis. However, during the spring, summer, and fall months, it's the best practice to charge the unit for at least 24 hours on a monthly basis to ensure a longer battery life. Next, we'll want to ensure that the unit has a good printer ribbon and sufficient paper to report the test being performed. To check or replace the printer ribbon, remove the two black thumb screws located on the front panel. This will allow you to remove the cover and see the printer ribbon. The printer ribbon can now be removed for inspection or replaced as necessary. While the cover is open, you can also check the printer paper roll. To replace the paper, insert the wooden access through the middle of a new paper roll. Holding the paper roll with the tag end on the bottom and facing you, insert the end into the head under the aluminum bar on the rear and use the knurled plastic screw on the left-hand side of the mechanism to feed the paper through the unit. Now, let's get into more of the use of the AFM2. To switch the unit on to perform testing, press and release the switch marked Reset. It will go through a quick self-test mode and display AFM2 ready. The unit is equipped to turn itself off if not actively being used within 4 minutes. In order to manually turn off the unit, press the S and Print button together and it will turn the unit off. To change the display contrast, press and hold the Reset button while turning it on. After about 3 seconds, the unit will go to its darkest setting. You can use the up and down arrow buttons to adjust that to your desired level. Once that level has been set, hit enter and it's saved until you change it again. To now check the memory available and the percent charge of the battery, once the unit's powered up and reads AFM2 ready, press and hold the Reset button. It will display the battery percentage and memory available. A fully charged battery is going to read about 6.4 volts. However, note that while the battery is connected to a charger, the reading may rise to 7.25 volts. Let's cover a little bit about the editing mode so that you can ensure you're recording the correct values for the correct surfaces by the correct operators. To access the editing mode, press Enter while the display screen shows AFM2 ready. Use the up and down arrow keys to choose what is going to be edited, followed by Enter. You can now enter the different runway IDs or operator IDs being used at your facility. What you must ensure is that when you arm for a test, you selected the correct operator ID and hit Enter. The last operator ID that you've confirmed in the editing section will be posted on that test data. Now it's time to actually perform a test. The instrument should be positioned on the front passenger seat or an armrest that is suitable for holding the unit stationary. Ideally, the unit should be put in the passenger seat and secured with a seat belt. The unit should be positioned with the large arrows beside the printer ribbon window facing in the direction of travel. Although the tilt of the unit is automatically recorded and compensated, the very best results are obtained when the unit base is parallel to the runway surface. After the unit has been positioned and secured, you're ready to arm for a test. This is done by pressing the A button. The unit will now display Arm for Test N, where N is the ID for the next test. You can delete previous tests or change the test number by using the up and down arrows. Now press Enter to confirm you want to proceed with that test. The display will then ask you to confirm the runway ID number. Use the up and down arrow keys to select the correct runway and A to accept it, or press Enter to change it, like we did back in the editing mode. The unit will now get the slope offset. Drive to an area that is representative of the area you are testing if you're not already there, and hit Enter to accept. Unit will now display Armed for Test In, or whatever test you selected. You can now accelerate safely to a speed of at least 25 miles an hour. Note, this mile per hour should be a standard across your organization by all operators. Then apply the brakes with a firm and steady pressure. You will not need to come to a complete stop. The unit will be calculating the friction readings, and at this point will allow you to press A to accept the values. If something's occurred during the test that you know was an anomaly and not a true reading of what the conditions are, you can press Reset and it will reject that test. The unit will now automatically ask you if you want to perform another test. Press A for another test, or Reset to quit the testing mode. You can now print out the results of your test. There are two different types of reports that can be generated. One is the results summary, and the other is the results table. Each report can have value and should be based on a local decision as to which report to use, or even both. To print the summary report, press P and the up or down arrow to choose the runway ID shown on the second line of the display. Press Enter to start printing. Hold the Enter key down to continue feeding paper if necessary. To print out the results table, press P again and use the up or down arrow keys to select the test number and then Enter to print. Thanks for tuning in for this tech tip. If you have any questions or need any additional assistance, please feel free to contact us. Thanks, and have a great day.